Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mike Kollin at MikeKollin.com. So sorry, it is 5:15 a.m. I'm a bit, not quite completely awake right now, but I'm in a really good mood, and that's kind of what I want to share with you about the whys and hows and what ifs behind, the purpose and all that stuff, and what's been going on and how this can help you. One thing I want to say is that I have a kind of funny sleep pattern and I'm very comfortable with it and I like it. And so I tend to work with people in different parts of the world from the UK, Australia, New Zealand, etc. because there will be times when I'm up at 3 o'clock in the morning, California time. Sometimes I'll be up at 11 p.m., 1, 2 a.m., etc. So we can schedule the times in to work together if you're in another country, so don't worry about that. There will be plenty of times where I can meet you at your hours where it works. And for those of you who don't already know, I am a highly trained, professionally trained life coach, personal development coach. And as you look up at what we just went through, it talks about I'm an NLP trainer, master hypnotherapist, that's Ericksonian hypnosis, master practitioner, timeline therapy, and I am an exceptionally gifted energy healer. I'm certified in Reiki, Huna, and Pranic healing. So if you need help with emotional issues, personal issues, challenges in life, if you just feel like you're stuck, I've even worked with businessmen. I actually had a client about a year and a half ago who was he was, what do they call it? He was like one of the top 5 controlling members of this multi-billion-dollar company, and we did a session, and it blew his mind, and we found the answer for what he was looking for. It had to do with the corporation. Actually, it was really big. It would have been life-changing if you didn't figure this out. So one of the things is I'm trained in it all comes from everything I'm trained in. I'm trained in a series of questions that will pop out the answer. Okay, so if you're stuck, it usually, you know what that means? It means you actually have the answer, you just can't find it, but it's there. And that's what happened with this guy. I did a series of questioning patterns, etc., that opened everything up. Okay, I want to say one final thing before we get to this video. You absolutely can change your life. The challenge is a lot of you you're so used to the old Western, and by the way, they did this on purpose to you to close you down. You're so used to going to talk therapy and it not working that you think, oh, well, I've been there for 2 years, but we still got issues. Like, no, you can make changes rapidly and fast, a lot faster than that. So, the young lady that I asked you guys to donate to, her name is Sheena. By the way, thank you guys, all of you, very, very much for that. It has absolutely made a huge difference. She had a huge relief from that. That made a difference in her life. Thank you very, very much. So over the last couple of years, she is, one of her problems was she was, how do I say this politely and respectfully, she was having lady problems. She didn't have her period for 3 months. I think at one time it was 5 months, and she was going to the doctors and taking medication. Nothing was working. So I said, oh, well, I could help you with that. And I did energy healing on her. And I just had to do one session. And the relief came. Okay. So they're really worried. She was very much worried, which I think is actually what caused it. And then about 6 months later, she said, hey, I'm having the same problem. Can you help me again? So we did 3 sessions on that specific problem. And it's completely gone now. Completely healed. And I've worked on some other issues like headaches and stuff like that. And so I would say I've probably done about 7 or 8 sessions on her. And we chatted tonight and I asked her, now mind you, she's in the Philippines and I'm in California. So I had asked her, I'm like, well, have you noticed how your life has gotten lighter and brighter over the last 2 years as you look back? She goes, oh yeah. She goes, my life is a lot better now than compared before. Because it was a very heavy energy. She was tired all the time. She was really stressed about everything all the time. So before I asked her that, I had said, have you noticed that every time I do an energy healing session on you, emotions will come up and you might cry for a couple days, or, like just sadness or something? She goes, oh yeah. She goes, I definitely notice every time you do a healing session, some kind of emotion will come up. Well, what that is that's called clearing. You're doing more than just healing a physical part of your body, okay? So when I do work on people, energy healing on, say, injuries, their back or whatever, you're going to notice is you're actually clearing emotions. You're clearing a stuck energy. That's why that part of your body never healed completely. Your body knows how to heal itself. It's these stuck emotions. Once you heal that, then your body begins to heal naturally. Now, I've worked with people over the years who have had cancer, and now the only people I will work with is people who the doctors have said, hey, we've done everything we can do, we've given you all the medication, we've done chemo, we've done this, we've done that, I'm sorry, nothing's working, say goodbye to your family and friends. I love coming in right after that and saying, oh, no problem, I'll heal you. Now, the reason why I bring this up is because, well, cancer, all it is, it's stuck emotions. That is literally what it is. It's stuck sadness. A lot of times, it's fear is what it is, and it's when people kind of clamp down. So I don't want to talk about this too much because I really believe in the energy, but it is, to me, it's one of the easiest things to heal because it's just stuck emotions, and that's what I specialize in. So using energy healing for that, it's a breeze. So about a week ago, I think it was a week ago, Victoria, she's on this channel a lot. Let me see what her call sign is for her YouTube channel. Hold on. Yeah, so she goes by Tori. So anyways, I'm doing some work with her and her family. So she had asked me, I forget what she said, how she said it. I think she said something, she goes, when you do that, like, how did she, I think she said the first time you did that, did you feel like Jesus? I'm like, well, I don't know if I felt like Jesus, but it did feel kind of like being in that direction. So beyond a shadow of a doubt, I am even all the way back when I was about 21 years old, when I met Uncle George in Aopi in Hawaii, he literally was the big kahuna at the time. He, in front of a whole class, he went all the way to the back. I was in the back left corner. He walked all the way around, right up to me and says, you can heal right now. He goes, you don't even need to learn how, you already know how. All you have to do is open up. And Buddha Kam said that to me too when I first met him. He just says, he goes, you're awake. He goes, you know how to do this. He goes, you don't need to learn how. So one of my biggest challenges was really, really believing. So here's the deal. I would heal someone of an actual physical injury that they've had for years. The doctors couldn't do anything. Person's going back to work. They're jumping up and down. They're going to the gym. They're lifting weights. They're just like fully functional. And in my mind, it's a really weird thing because it's like, did I really do that? So it got to the point where I made some people go back to the doctor and have their doctors, take x-rays and tests and verify it. And they're like, why is this so hard for you to believe? And I don't, it's I don't think it's hard to believe now, but it did up until very, very recently. And the reason why I'm making this video is I just realized today, man, have I shifted in the last 9 to 10 months. I'm at a place where I'm at the peak of my healing ability, my coaching abilities, my therapeutic abilities. It's an art at this point. It's like an artist who's been doing it for so long, who is so good at it. It's like putting on a show. It's just something fun to do. I don't know if fun's the right word. It is fascinating. That's probably it is. I can't find a better word. It's kind of like the way I look at the Golden Gate Bridge when I'm down in the marina right there on Chrissy Field when I'm riding my bike, and it's like everything is moving, but it looks so unreal because it's so massive, and the grass kind of goes up, so it kind of has this shifting kind of thing, like almost like it's moving, but it's not. It's that same magnificent feeling when I work with someone and I discover something. I'm like, well, how am I doing this? I mean, I know the techniques that I'm doing to get into that state of mind, to go into that space, and the techniques I'm using, but there's something there. Okay, there are things that will come up that I will just intuitively know what to do. There's this young lady that was dying of cancer about 3 years ago. I showed her picture on here a while back and completely healed her, but I had to do this thing that was so, not weird, but so out of left field, I'm like, well, something just says go into this, clear this out, do this, do that. And I was like, oh, okay. So one of the things I will tell you, there is some kind of intuitive thing that's going on. And I do pray to God before I do every session. I'll even stop and pray to God again, or kind of tune in. And I give a lot of, what's the word I'm looking for? A lot of credit to God, because I ask God to bring the healing energy into me and through me so I can send it into you. It's more than just sending energy into you. I do a lot of clearing and pulling energy out and cutting energy off, but it's even more than that. I don't want to go too much more in detail, because there's things that I have done. I'm like, well, how did I know to do that? Like, it was so far, like there's not a single book on the planet that would have ever written that, or a class or a teacher. So in the beginning, when these things would come up, like one guy, it was like he had these metal spikes going down his spine, and he had spinal issues, by the way, and it was like this metal spikes going in with this leather thing that was attached to. And when I pulled all this stuff out, he had instant relief, and I didn't even tell him what I did. Mind you, I live over 100 miles away from this person. I forget what else I was going to say about that, but one thing you can look him up. There's a video of him and his wife and his daughter on my website. Go to MikeKollin.com, go to testimonials, and then go down to energy healing. So one of the things that they taught us is, like, people bring in issues from their past life, whether it's emotional, physical, and the physical issues will have energetic, emotional issues connected to them. And once you release and heal that, that's when the injury begins to heal. So what brought all this up is I was chatting with Sheena tonight. Now she's in the Philippines. Now we rarely talk on the phone. In fact, I haven't talked with her on the phone in probably 2 years. We used to do FaceTime a while back. So she just will chat and say, hey, I'm having this issue, this problem. Can you heal me? I was like, yeah, sure. So tonight she brought this whole thing up. It was kind of like out of the blue, because we've never talked about it. She goes, yeah, I notice I have these emotions come up whenever you do these energy healing sessions. She goes, I realized that's part of the energy healing. Now, the reason why it's such a big deal to me is because it confirms, like, oh, okay, because whenever I do it to myself and I go through it, emotions come up. Or when I used to go to an energy healer years ago, like, emotions would come up, and it would just, and then she explained, okay, how did she say it? Actually, I'm going to pull it up. Hold on. Okay, so I had to pull up Facebook. So she said, yeah, I noticed it. I thought I'm still ill and uncomfortable. Then suddenly, after a few days or a week, I feel good and I feel light. Now, the reason why it's such a big deal to me is I've never, ever, ever told her about how the emotional component will come up. I've never broken it down to her. I just said, hey, if you need to talk, let me know, etc., etc. So it's really nice when she's like, yeah, I noticed every time we do a session, here's the process of what I go through, and that's essentially exactly what it is. So over time, the more sessions you do, the more clearings you do, the life just gets easier and easier, and you start to enjoy life a lot more. And that's the thing with people who have never done this for a series and period of time. You have no idea how much your life can shift. Now let's talk about the image right here. So it says humans can see frequencies from 430 to 790 THz, whatever that is, and perceive sound between 20 hertz and 20 kilohertz. These ranges are just a tiny portion of the entire spectrum of light and sound, meaning much of what exists is entirely invisible to us. Now people, this is Western science speaking. This isn't some spiritual woo-woo thing. This is actual science, okay? Now here's something I will personally guarantee you, and I guarantee if you go to scientists and doctors, they'll say, yeah, that's true. There are some people, probably 20%, 30%, maybe even 50% of humans, society, they don't even reach the bandwidth of these measurements that they have here. Some people can't see or perceive at 790 THz. Some people can't perceive or hear at 20 kilohertz, okay? It's a little bit less than that. It's probably 17 or 15, okay? What's my point? The more tuned in you are, the broader broader band range that you have. In other words, you can see frequencies at a broader range. It may only be slightly by 5 or 10 or maybe 2 or 3 beyond these numbers here. Now here's something they say about cats and other animals. Cats, for sure, they can see spectrums that human beings can't see. This is not my opinion. This is scientific fact. There are other animals who see a different range and can hear a different range of, what do they call it? I don't know what the T hertz is and the kilohertz, okay? Alright, so let me ask you a very simple, basic, common sense question. Who do you think is going to have a broader range? Somebody who's stuck in their far left brain, or somebody who can reach all the way over to the right brain? Yep, the right brain. Who do you think is going to notice the nuances and subtleties? And it is subtle. That's the thing you got to understand. Well, I can't see it. I get men that, well, I can't see it crystal clear if I do that. Well, you're not supposed to. The goal is to get you to notice the subtleties. See, my course, Crack the Female Code for Men, a third core piece of the course, this is a third of the course, is getting you to learn how to open up to your right brain and to tune into your 5 senses to have a broader range, full spectrum, okay? So what I mean by that is a lot of logical people are not only far to the left, but they're very narrow. I'm holding my thumb and forefinger about 1.5 inches apart. The average male is actually a little bit more to center. He's probably a majority left brain, but he has a broad range that at least reaches over to the right side. Now, to say average, I didn't mean average. I meant about 50%. Now, imagine if somebody had meditated an hour, 2 hours a day, 5, 6, 7 days a week for a year, for 2 years. What that does is it quiets down your mind, so you don't have the thinking blocking your awareness. So when you can calm down your mind and calm down the energy in your heart and your solar plexus area, you begin to notice things, very subtle nuances that you never noticed before that were always there. Now, most people don't even believe in the third eye, even though scientifically it's proven. They have x-rays, they've cut it open, they show you, here's what it is right here, this is the section. This isn't some kind of like wishy-washy airy-fairy thing. Science is like, yeah, actually turns out this is true. It's a part of your brain that when you activate it and or open it, you even tune in to these ranges, these spectrums, even further. It's funny how the people who can't see are the ones that say, oh, I don't believe in vision, I don't have vision, therefore it must not be true. So their whole thing in life is, if I can't do it, then nobody else can. Really? Okay. Now, some people, men and women, and it generally will be more the men, because men are born using their left brain, so learning how to open your right brain it's a bit more of a challenge than it is for most women, but you'll get some women that are not that tuned in either. So I'm going to say this from the female perspective, because a lot of women have said this. It's in movies, it's in books, it's on TV, it's kind of a comedy hour. There are some men, and it's not the majority, but I would say I don't want to give a percentage, but it's more than 20%. They tend to be dense, okay? Imagine it being when you close off from your right brain, you can't really sense your 5 senses. You're not tuned in. You don't really notice it. So every now and then I'll get someone that says, oh, I don't believe in energy healing. I don't believe in this. So what I do is I grab their forehead, kind of smack them, and I squeeze down with the iron grip, and they'll just sit there and talk to me, and there'll be like 5 or 6 people in the room, and I'll say, you didn't even notice that I'm squeezing down on your forehead, did you? And they're like, what are you talking about? I'm like, dude, I'm holding your forehead. They're like, oh, I didn't even notice. That's how dense and disconnected some people are. That doesn't mean that everyone else is like that. So what's my purpose of sharing this with you? What I'm saying is this, is number one, okay, I just actually took some quick notes here. There's 3 pieces. Number one, anyone can expand their bandwidth, their range of awareness, okay, from left to right. Okay, so expand that awareness bandwidth, and that's what I was talking about earlier. Number 2, you can also learn how to calm down inside, meaning stop the talking inside your head, the internal dialogue. Also stop the energy that's inside your heart and your solar plexus and belly area. If you can do those two things, all of a sudden you begin to notice things that were always there that you never noticed before. So it's like a submarine. It's like there was something knocking on the side of the submarine, but because all the guys inside were talking, chatter, the music going, blah, 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 all this noise blocking everything out, you never noticed it, but then all of a sudden someone said, hey, wait a minute, turn the music off, shut up, everyone be quiet. All of a sudden, you start to notice something that's always been there, but you never noticed it because you were too loud inside, you were too busy. You never learned how to slow down and come to a complete stop. Anybody can develop this ability or skill. It takes dedication, it takes commitment, and it takes some coaching and some energy healing. Meditation and the internal awareness techniques. So meditation will clear your mind and clear your heart. The internal awareness techniques help you to expand that bandwidth. That's as we're looking at in the image right now. Right, the kilohertz, whatever it's called, from visual, auditory, and even kinesthetic. See, what most people don't know, the way the radar system works on a submarine is it makes a ping that goes out from the entire hull or shell of the submarine and goes all the way out. And what it does, it'll hit something, say there's like a rock formation or a little mountain or hill underneath the water, or maybe another submarine or a large fish, it'll come back and it'll hit the side of it. So, how do I say this? So the entire skin of the submarine is attached to this series of electrodes or whatever you call them, and that goes into the radar system and it lets you know where it hit, when it hit, and that's how you know what direction it's in and how far away it is. The human body is exactly like that, except it's much more in tune. It has a much finer, it's tuned in a much more finer way. It's much more powerful, it's much more accurate, and it does a lot more than just what the submarine does. So learning how to tune in, it takes a dedication, it takes a skill set, it takes a level of commitment to do the meditation, to do the internal awareness techniques, and to learn how to do them. So number one, the goal is to expand that awareness, which expands your bandwidth, your range of tuning in to colors, to sounds, to what what you feel around you. Number two is to calm down inside so you begin to notice those things with clarity. Number three is what we call being grounded or emotionally grounded. It's literally like dropping an electrical cord deep down into the earth. The same thing that your house does, your business does, and I think it's every 3 or 4 light poles do. There's an electrical cord. I had a video where I actually did a video recording of it, and I don't think I have it on here. I'm looking through my video. Yeah, it's not on here, but here's what it is. You already have a cord that's built in. You have to learn how to drop it down into the earth. Now, what steers everything from energy healing, manifestation, dropping your energy cord, opening up your chakras, all of it, it's visualization. Visualization is literally the same thing as the steering wheel to the car. It guides it. It shows it what you want, where to go. So that kind of gives you an idea. So earlier I said I don't really know how I'm doing this. I know, number one, I'm just exceptionally tuned in. I'm a very dedicated person. I was born with being a bit more sensitive than the average person. Now here's the thing, for you people that are, I'm sensitive, I don't mean sensitive like, I'm scared or nervous, but I see when you ground yourself, all that anxiety goes away. And it allows you to still stay in tune. So maybe I should use that. So it allows you to not only stay in tune, but to be more tuned in than the majority of people around you. Now, for the guys wondering, well, why would I learn how to do this? Because women find this extremely attractive. An emotionally grounded guy helps her to calm down, feel comfortable, and to relax with you. A guy who's up in his head, being Mr. Logical, theoretical, up in his head all the time, it causes her to go up in her head. Now she's not grounded. Now she feels nervous. It causes people to be more sensitive and not grounded. See, when you're grounded, you feel emotionally good. It helps people around you to also to become more grounded. And when you're tuned in and you have a greater awareness around you, that makes her feel safe when she's with you. That's why this last three pieces I told you about, greater awareness, expand that bandwidth, calm down inside, and to ground yourself, that is a third. It is a core piece. There's three core pieces. We will go over that every single day, multiple times throughout the day, teaching you how to ground your energy. Now you're thinking, but why, Mike? But okay, why do you want to be with a woman? Oh yeah, sex. Yeah, they like that. And you like to hug too, and you like to be with someone, and you like to be happy. See, if you want to go on a date with a woman and you want her to enjoy being with you, this is how you do it. It's not paying for dinner. I don't care how expensive the dinner is. I don't care how expensive the wine is. I don't care how expensive your car is. None of that stuff will help her to feel emotionally grounded, which is the number one thing a woman is looking for in a relationship. She wants clarity. She wants understanding. Guess what? Understanding comes from greater awareness and clarity. When you're emotionally grounded, it helps her to feel calm, which allows her to become emotionally grounded, which means she opens up emotionally to you and connects with you on an emotional level. That is the goal. This is what women need to feel close to you, to feel connected to you before making love to you. Without feeling emotionally close to you, she's not feeling comfortable. She wants to feel comfortable. And she wants to feel comfortable with you. You just have to learn how to do this. Do you know why women leave men after 5, 6, 7 years of relationship? They never feel emotionally connected to you. They don't feel like they can calm down and relax because you're stuck in your head. This is what she wants and needs. If she finds a man who's truly emotionally grounded, she's going to hold on to him. And imagine if you actually learn how to speak the internal language, which I speak in the Cracked Female Code course for men, the mentally stimulating and emotionally fulfilling language, which gives meaning and meaningfulness to communication and conversations. Now, to a man, you're like, well, what does that mean? That means she's going to love you. She's going to be happy she found you. Trust me, this is what women are looking for. If you don't know how to do these things, she's going to be irritated. She's going to get exhausted. It is going to be one boring experience after another, irritating. It's going to give her a headache, and she's going to leave you. Now, what does it really mean to be grounded or emotionally grounded? You really should say mentally and emotionally grounded, connected within. This means that your left brain opens the door to the right brain, and now the energy, the information flows from left to right, left to right. This is when you drop that grounding cord deep into the earth, and energy begins to flow through you, meaning there's no blockages between the left side of your brain and the right side. When you're open to the right side, you are open and you're grounded, and now you can express yourself in a much more natural and comfortable way without having to think about every little thing you're going to say. You just feel it, you express it, you communicate it. So emotionally grounded literally means to be open to from your left brain to the right brain, to open that doorway so information flows. The way you do that is dropping awareness down inside your body and then dropping your grounding cord deep into the earth. Essentially, it's bringing your awareness inside. It's what Jesus meant when he said, look within. And yes, I do teach this course for men. It's a 6-day course. It was a 5-day course, but it kind of pushed too much together. But it's a 6-day course, and you may have to do a few follow-up sessions after that. I'm going to leave this at that. If you're looking for energy healing, emotional healing, or looking to improve your life in any way, get a hold of me. You can get a hold of me. My email is mike@mikekollin.com. I have a phone number up here, but I realize it's my landline, not my cell phone. So if you guys want to get a hold of me on my cell phone, I think I'm going to change this to my cell phone, because a lot of you guys use WhatsApp when you're in other countries. I tell you what, email me first and ask for the number if you want to talk through cell phones, WhatsApp, etc. Alright, that's it, guys. If you enjoyed this video, please click subscribe, click the like button, and if you want, go ahead and make a comment. And always, you can go ahead and leave a donation. There's a PayPal link right there in the description box. Alright guys, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.